This is a sealed 1/18 scale Lotus Evora by Techno model for €250. And this is a 1/24 scale Lotus Evora with opening parts for €16. Guys, welcome back to another episode of Imperial Diecast, and today I want to show you the prettiest 1/24 scale Motormax in my collection. This gloss black Evora S. Here's what the model looks like inside its box. You can see it's a pretty fancy Motormax box saying GT Racing, Lotus Evora S, Diecast Collection, 1/24 scale. Here's the top view. And you have like a window on each side so that you can see the front and the back of the car as well. And here's what the back looks like. And here is the bottom, which shows you all the different licenses. So let's get this car out of the box and then get on with the review. So this is the Lotus Evora. And the name of the car comes from the words evolution, vogue, and aura. Evora. And this, of course, fits in the Lotus tradition of having all their cars' names begin with the letter E. But this is the Evora S. So what does the S stand for? Supercharged. And this car is actually larger than the Elise, Exige, or Europa, and heavier too. In fact, it's the most modern Lotus out there. At the same time, this is also a 2+2 coupe, which means it has 2 front seats and 2 back seats as well. All the other Lotus cars don't have that. And together with the BMW i8, the Lotus Evora is the only 2+2 coupe that is mid-engined on sale right now, because all the other 2+2 cars are front-engined. The idea that you can fit 2 front passenger seats, 2 rear passenger seats, and an engine at the back, as well as some room for your luggage, is pretty insane. Now, Burago also makes this car in 1/24 scale. They make it in yellow, in silver, and as a cop car for the Italian Carabinieri. The cool thing about the Burago version is that the rear engine cover opens. And the front wheels also steer. However, the main reason why I bought this Motormax version is because of the paint job. This gloss black paint job with a golden trim is absolutely beautiful. Couple that with red mirrors, British flags on the fenders, and golden Lotus lettering on the rear spoiler, and you've got yourself a very awesome looking 124 scale car. Now Motormax also makes this car in a different color. This is a two-tone matte white and matte black with gray stripes. But on top of that, Motormax also makes a slightly different variant of this car in this metallic green with the yellow racing stripes. However, this car is actually not the Evora S, but the Evora GT4. And there are slight differences. For example, in the fact that the spoiler is raised. You get a silver gas cap. You got different rims. You got a silver roll cage in the interior. And the air intakes on the front sides are also a little bit different looking. So taking a look at the front of the car, you can see that we have here the Lotus logo in the middle. It's printed well and it looks great. You can see the individual lettering. To either sides we have the headlights, and these are actually done pretty well. I mean, there are no pegs in the middle. The headlight cover is kept in black and the headlights themselves are in silver. Further below, you will see that this car has a big front grille. And of course, this being a 124 scale car, this front grille is not perforated. However, you can see that we have a closed plastic mesh with a hexagonal pattern. And this is something that is also the case for these two air vents up here, which also have the mesh pattern. Now, the interesting thing about the Lotus Evora, even in real life, is that the front of the car does not open. So not just in the model, but also in real life. This part in the middle, though, can be opened on the real car, and inside you would find the windshield washer fluid and the brake fluid. Here's a look at the side of the car. I just love these swooping lines right here. And of course also the roof of the car, how it slants all the way to the back. You can see we have these two golden stripes here. And of course, British flag and a little indicator painted in silver. The car's wheels are in a matte gold. And this being a Motormax in 124 scale, don't expect any brake discs or brake calipers. Sadly, unlike the Burago, there aren't any Lotus logos either. And unfortunately, the front wheels do not swivel. However, the car rolls well. And I don't know about you, but if I just look at the side of the Lotus Evora, the cabin, and especially the rear haunches of the car, remind me a little bit, just a little bit, of the Koenigsegg Regera. The way the cabin is shaped and all that. Anyway, let's move on to the back of the car, but before we do that, let's just take another close-up of this British flag here. It's done pretty well. You got your red side view mirrors. You've got a little bit of a grille here. And now let's check out the rear. So taking a look at the back of the car, I really appreciate the amount of detail that Motormax put into this area of the vehicle, because you have Lotus written in golden lettering here. And over here to the right, it says Evora S. And it also says Evora S on the rear license plate. We've got this beautiful red trimmed rear diffuser. Silver tipped exhaust. Moving further up, here's a look at the engine of this vehicle. As they say on Top Gear regarding Lotus, lots of trouble, usually serious. One of the primary concerns for Lotus buyers is the lack of reliability of Lotus engines. But when Lotus built the Evora, they actually understood this problem and therefore did not build a specific Lotus engine, but actually took the engine from a Toyota Camry, supercharged it, and put it inside this much lighter car. So what we have here is a 3.5-liter V6 supercharged Toyota Camry engine with 345 horsepower, capable of accelerating from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.5 seconds, and with a top speed of 277 kilometers per hour. And while I personally don't really like the fact that you cannot look into the engine, it's cool that Motormax has highlighted the individual letters of Lotus and given the engine at least some level of detail. As we move on to the interior of the car, you have to keep in mind that this is a 1/24 scale Motormax, and therefore you cannot expect a whole lot of detail on the interior. However, you can see that we have like a little blue screen for the center console, showing you the navigation system. We got like sound system on the doors. Nothing is painted, however, but the basic level of details are there, including a 6-speed manual and an e-brake. Now here you can see how this car is a 2+2 coupe, because we actually have 2 rear seats as well. Although even on the real car, these are extremely uncomfortable to get into, and so therefore these main 2 seats are basically what are used. Let's check out the driver's side. So looking at the driver's side, you can see that we have a 3-spoke steering wheel. Unfortunately, it does not have the Lotus logo in the middle. However, behind it you can see a sticker for the instrument panel, and you can see the gauges on the sticker. That's about it though. Nothing really else worth mentioning in terms of details on this 1/24 scale car, apart from the fact that on the center console you can also see 2 more gauges right up there. But I mean, you don't really buy this car for the interior, you buy it because of this excellent paint job. And taking a look at the bottom of the car, there's actually not much detail here. I mean, you can see that it says Lotus Evora S, produced under license, scale 1/24. Otherwise, the bottom is kept very flat. Got a little bit of detail here. As you can see, the exhaust pipes leading to the back. And that's pretty much it. Thanks again for watching this review of the Lotus Evora S. And stay tuned for the Lotus Exige coming next week on Imperial Diecast.